Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 17th March 2021. So let us see which are the important articles in today's The Hindu newspaper. So these are the important articles for men's purpose and for prelims purpose. Let us take overview of these articles first. For men's related articles, responsible AI, artificial intelligence, the need for ethical guardrails. So from GS3 science and technology perspective as well as the essay topic, in 2019 mains examination there was direct essay topic on artificial intelligence. So from that perspective we are going to discuss the potential applications or the existing applications of AI and the concerns associated with use of AI and the way forward, for especially it is giving some way forward related to AI governance. Okay, so here GS3 paper and essay paper. Next, changes to National Capital Territory Act revive power tussle. So again the new bill to amend the NCT Act 1991 here it has been introduced in Lok Sabha. It is talking about the changes that have been made in the earlier law and how it has revived the power tussle between Delhi elected government and the LG Lieutenant Governor that has been that is appointed by central government. Okay, from polity perspective GS2 paper we are going to understand the provisions or the changes that have been made here. A robust economic relationship. So basically it is talking about India-US relationship, economic relationship, the areas in which the collaboration and cooperation can be increased between India and US. Okay, so specifically India-US relations, GS2 paper, international relations. Then lastly, Rajya Sabha passes MTP, so medical termination of pregnancy, so bill, GS2 paper, social justice, GS1 society and essay paper. Many such let's say provisions of this MTP Act have been now amended and the more easier facilitation of termination of pregnancy is allowed for women. So from women empowerment perspective, social justice perspective, this is the changes, legal changes that have been made. From specifically prelims related articles, come out with rule curve for Mulla Periyar, Supreme Court. So what do you mean by rule curve? What is this Mulla Periyar Dam? So this is many times in news for the conflict between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. So that's why it becomes important for us for UPSC examination. From geography perspective, what is this Mulla Periyar Dam and what is this rule curve? We will try to understand here. Energy Meet calls for faster shift to renewables. So one of the report that have been published by ARENA, International Renewable Energy Organization, that it is giving that report that COVID-19 presents a good opportunity to shift towards renewable energy. So what is this report and given by which agency? It becomes important for prelims examination. Delhi remains most polluted capital report. So again from environment perspective, some of the important reports related to air pollution. This is World Air Quality Report 2020 that has been given or published by IQAir. So some of the highlights of the report here we are going to understand. Fine. So let us go into details of all these articles. First article, page number 6, responsible AI, artificial intelligence, the need for ethical guardrails. So before going into details, let me tell you what kind of UPSC or let's say essay topic that UPSC asked in 2019. You can see here, rise of artificial intelligence, the threat of jobless future or better job opportunities through reskilling and upskilling. Now this is very specific topic. Okay, it is specifically related to the kind of impact it may have in future on employment or skill levels. So we need to know the basics about AI, its application, the concerns associated with and way forward, right? So for that matter, the overall understanding can be undertaken here from this article. So let us try to understand. First is the potential application or existing applications of AI. As we can see in our day-to-day life, if we are let's say just googling anything, though in the Google or any YouTube video that we are typing, there are many suggestions or recommendations that are given by Google continuously on the basis of the kind of videos we have looked into earlier, okay, or in past or history. So such kind of, let's say, recommendations is nothing but the result of algorithms or artificial intelligence, right? So yes, recommendations on our favorite streaming or shopping sites, right? So we can understand that. Next, increase in crop yields. So the best example here you can talk about is precision farming. So in future it is going to involve the use of AI, and that is going to increase the crop yields, okay, optimum use of water and other such inputs, fertilizer use, pesticide use, and increase in crop yields. Yes, we know that increased business productivity, surely optimizing the inputs and increasing the outputs in the business activity, that can be done through such algorithms and AI use. So some of the other applications like GPS technology, right, mapping technology, it uses this one. Predictive text, like while typing any mail, Gmail, we get many such predictions for the text we are typing. Even in our mobile application, WhatsApp or such communication devices or applications, we have this predictive text. It is result of AI, right? Or we can say faster and more precise cancer prediction is possible because of AI, artificial intelligence. So such kind of applications in varied fields, industry or agriculture, health sector or digital technology or commerce field. So you can club all these applications under such headings here. Okay. Now, after understanding these applications, you also need to know the concerns associated with AI. And first and foremost is that it will replace or displace the existing employees from their jobs. Why? Because they will not be having necessary skills. First thing you need to know, it will lead to unemployment. So at present itself, many such let's say robotics or the AI enabled robots, they are displacing the jobs at desk levels, right? In future they may be increased, or they may be let's say displacing many such employees, and therefore what we need at present is reskilling and upskilling of these employees. Okay, so unemployment, digital exclusion in a sense that those who do not understand or know the digital technology, they will be excluded, they will not have access to use of this technology. So digital exclusion. At the same time, it is also said that it will increase or lead to increase inequalities in the society at the country level as well as among the country level, because we know that AI technology is being developed and used in developed countries, some of the developed countries, and developing countries, developed countries will not have access to such technologies. There will be increased inequalities. At the same time, those who are rich, they are having more access to such kind of technology, or in future they will be having such access to this technology, and they will cash upon all these technologies, and poor will remain poor. So that's why inequalities will increase. At the same time, one of the major concern associated with AI is of privacy concern. As we know that whatever we are continuously using on the internet, be it mobile applications or internet searches, search engines, they are continuously using our personal data, or they are even selling that personal data to third party without our consent. Okay, this is the major privacy concern or data protection concern, right? So profiling is being done continuously by these commerce websites, or we can say e-commerce websites, and for that matter they are continuously now influencing our behavior, economic behavior. They are influencing our, let's say, buying tendencies, right? Because of such information they are having, personal information of us they are having. right? So these are the concerns, and we also know some of the political concerns from the Cambridge Analytica event that happened, how big data analysis and we can say algorithms can influence the voting in the elections. Okay, this is very problematic for any democratic country, right? So all these are the concerns associated, challenges associated with AI, applications of AI. So what should be the way forward? The article is talking about the AI governance as way forward, and at present we can understand AI is at nascent stage and not many countries are having such kind of, let's say, regulation. But yes, the writer is of the view that it should not be left for self regulation. There should be some kind of optimum regulation by the government or nation states, we can say, at international level. That means there should be this approach, whole of the society based on whole of the world. That means we can understand that AI is not only used by the private sector, AI is also used and deployed we can say by the government or civil society. So not only the private sector, there should be multi-stakeholder approach for the governance here. So whole of the society approach, that is resting on the whole of the world approach for AI governance. And such kind of let's say efforts have been undertaken at the world level as well as national level in India. Which are these approaches? Like first, UN Secretary General's roadmap on digital cooperation. Second is UNESCO draft recommendation on ethics of artificial intelligence to the member states. And at national level we have Niti Aayog strategy, responsible AI for all. You should mention this in your essay paper or answer. Responsible AI for all. Okay, so this is the strategy devised by Niti Aayog after consultation process of 1 year, and now we are going to have some kind of optimum regulation in the use of this AI technology or the governance, we can say that. So yes, different kind of question can be asked now. At present UPSC is only focusing on this kind of technology or the questions in prelims level only. In GS3 paper mains examination they have not asked for, let's say, blockchain technology or AI or machine learning, such kind of, let's say, fourth industrial revolution. These technologies are going to lead to, or we can say going to lead this fourth industrial revolution, we can understand. Okay, so yes, in mains they have not asked yet, but in 2021 they can ask, because for last 2 to 3 years they have been continuously asking question in prelims for blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, right? So yes, cryptocurrencies. So surely they will ask now in mains examination in detail, and in detail they will ask about the concerns and way forward or the governance related part. Fine. So try to take input for essay paper, GS3 paper, even in GS2 governance part they may ask such kind of question. Okay. Moving on to next article, changes to NCT Act revive power tussle, from GS2 paper polity part. Now again, before going into details, what kind of question UPSC already asked 2 times in 2016 mains and 2018 mains. And 2 important events that happened during that time. In 2016 there was continuous power struggle that was happening in between the elected Delhi government and the LG of Delhi, and there was a significant Supreme Court judgment in 2018. So separate question was asked, discuss the essentials of 69th Constitutional Amendment Act and anomalies, if any, that have led to recent reported conflicts between elected representatives and institution of LG in the administration of Delhi. Do you think that this will give rise to new trend in functioning of Indian federal politics? 2016 examination. And after this Supreme Court judgment in 2018, whether the Supreme Court judgment 2018 can settle the political tussle between LG Lieutenant Governor and elected government of Delhi examine. So such kind of questions already UPSC has asked. Again now it is in news, so you need to know the background also. What happened at that time? What was this judgment? The background, and at present what are the changes that are being brought by the central government in this act? So yes, first of all let us try to understand the present status of Delhi. So how this National Capital Territory of Delhi was formed by insertion of this Article 239 AA. A special status was given to Delhi Union Territory. As we know that there are two such Union Territories with state assemblies, Delhi and Puducherry, and in that also the one new addition is now made of Jammu and Kashmir. Right. So this Delhi is having unique kind of, let's say, federal structure. It is not complete having statehood or not completely union territory. In between it is having some kind of democratic representation and federal polity. Right. So it was done through 69th Constitutional Amendment Act 1991. Okay. And according to this act, whatever the provisions except these three, which are these: public order, police and land, whatever the provisions or the subjects that are there in state list and concurrent list, they can be legislated by state legislative assembly. Okay. However, these three areas, public order, police and land, the state legislative assembly is not allowed to or empowered to make any law on these three subjects. Now, the new amendment 2021, this bill seeks to make certain changes or bring clarity in the distribution of powers between the elected state assembly, or we can say elected state government, and the LG. Okay, so what are these changes that are being made through this amendment act? First and foremost is that it is bringing clarity in the definition of the government. It is saying that the expression government referred to any law to be made by legislative assembly shall mean to the LG, Lieutenant Governor. Okay. Second aspect, and the more contentious aspect we can say, or the provision it is talking about, is that the opinion of the LG is to be taken in every, or we can before taking any executive decision by the Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister. Now this is a kind of compulsion to take opinion of LG, and it is somehow to certain extent in conflict with the 2018 Supreme Court judgment. We will come to that point. You can see now the background here, Supreme Court's verdict in 2018. Now here it is specifically talking about, first you can see LG's concurrence is not required on the issues other than police, or we can say public order or land. But it is not talking about any taking opinion of LG. Now the central government has taken the different meaning of this judgment. Okay. Second aspect is that decisions of the Council of Ministers, however, have to be communicated to the LG. It is not talking about taking opinion of the LG. Rather, the decisions of this executive are to be communicated with the LG. And lastly, LG was bound by aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. So LG cannot take independent decisions or have extreme levels of discretionary powers. Here they have to take the advice of Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister. At the same time, the status of LG of Delhi is not that of Governor of State, rather he remains as an administrator in a limited sense, working with designation of LG. Okay, it is not a kind of parallel post of governor of any other state. Rather, it is administrator, or he or she is administrator of union territory here. Okay, so this is the background, and now this new amendment again opens up the Pandora of issues. here, and there may be conflict between the elected government and LG, or we can say central government in future, in coming future, and that's why it will be news. Again, we'll have more analysis in coming lectures when there are, let's say, or there is discussion or analysis of this issue in any further articles. Fine, for GS2 paper polity part. Moving on, a robust economic relationship. So it is talking about India-US relationship, or the areas of cooperation and collaboration that can be further explored, and these are recommended by CII. This is the we can say body of industries in India, or we can say they are represented here in CII. Now, which are these areas of cooperation? First and foremost, earlier also we talked about, it is regarding the dealing with COVID-19 pandemic, the cooperation and collaboration. Yesterday itself we talked about how in Quad grouping India and US is also collaborating in vaccine production, manufacturing in India, and US is going to provide its technology for production, right? So such kind of collaboration can be further stepped up in COVID, dealing with or response to COVID-19 pandemic. Then we can also talk about macro trade architecture, further can be strengthened with devising a broad trade agreement. Okay, so yes, a free trade agreement or a particular bilateral trade agreement can be devised here, and many such issues can be solved. At the same time, many areas of trade can be explored here through this trade agreement. Moving on, it is also talking about stepping up the involvement or participation of small and medium enterprises, and the defense industry ties, they can be stepped up. Along with that, other areas that are continuously working, going on, the cooperation between two countries, clean energy and climate change. Surely again, during that Quad summit, it was also talking about the joint working group on the climate change and clean technologies, or we can say critical technologies. So yes, such kind of let's say cooperation can be done for clean energy, renewable energy and climate change. And yes, lastly, digital economy partnership. As we know that during the COVID-19 pandemic, India has come up with huge reforms, especially if we are talking about digital economy, digital education, digital health. Okay, and for that matter, the digital technology is going to help for further, let's say, implementation of these reforms, and cooperation in this field with US is going to help. Okay. Other areas, education, innovation, R&D, agriculture, trade and technology. Yes, these are the areas. Now, for any kind of bilateral relationship of India with other countries, you need to know some core areas. You need to know some core areas. If we are talking about India-Germany, you should know about, it is largely the cooperation involved in the renewable energy and such kind of technology involved here. If you are talking about India-Japan, the focus always is on the investment, financial investment by Japan in infrastructure in India. Focus is always on that. If you are talking about India-Australia, yes, surely there should be, there is a focus on, let's say, technology cooperation, naval capabilities, defense related, or if you are talking about India-Israel, yes, defense related relations. At the same time, agricultural technology, irrigation efficiency related technologies, right? So each and every bilateral relations that India has, there are some core areas for cooperation and collaboration. You need to know about them. For India-US, it becomes important. Fine. So what kind of question we are expecting? Discuss the possible areas of economic cooperation and collaboration between India and US. Simple 10-mark question can be asked here. Moving on, Rajya Sabha passes Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Bill. This bill, 2020 bill, was already passed by Lok Sabha in 2020, and now it is passed by Rajya Sabha, and further after the assent given by the President, it will change into the act here or added into the Gazette of India. Now what are the changes made here through this amendment? Major change here is that for requirement of one doctor or two doctor or let's say panel of doctor at state level for termination of pregnancy after certain period or time period. At present, yes, abortion requires the opinion of one doctor if it is done within 12 weeks of conception, two doctors if it is done between 12 to 20 weeks. Now this is change through this amendment. What is done through this amendment? Abortion to be done on advice of one doctor up to 20 weeks now. Earlier it was 12 weeks. Okay, now up to 20 weeks only one doctor recommendation is required and advice is required, and two doctors in case of let's say certain categories of one between 20 to 24 weeks. Okay, and after these 24 weeks there will be the state level medical board and its advice is required. Okay, after 24 weeks for termination of pregnancy. These are the changes that are done here. The focus of the government is of women empowerment or ensuring dignity of women. This is again important development in that direction. So social justice society essay paper. Next, for prelims related developments, come out with rule curve for Mulla Periyar Supreme Court. So what is rule curve here? Rule curve is very technical term here. Technical terms in irrigation field or this geography part here. Rule curve in a dam decides the fluctuating storage levels in a reservoir. It determines or decides the fluctuating storage levels in reservoir. Now this is the core part of any dam safety part. Okay, so core safety mechanism in dam, right? So the gate opening schedule of dam is based on this rule curve. So whenever the question, suppose there is question in prelims examination, rule curve sometimes appearing in news is related to which of the following? Rule curve. So those who do not know this technical term, they may get answer wrong here. Okay, so rule curve is related to the kind of storage level, fluctuating storage levels in the reservoir. It is related to dam safety. Okay. Now regarding Mulla Periyar Dam, yes, you can see here the location first. So it is the dam which is built here on the confluence of Mullayar and Periyar rivers. You can see here the Mulla Periyar Dam. This Mulla Periyar Dam is built on this Periyar and Mullayar river. However, from this reservoir on the eastward direction a canal is built and a water is diverted into Tamil Nadu to fill the basin of Vaigai river. Now this is Vaigai river. You can see here that the Vaigai river is coming like this. This is Vaigai dam and this is filled with the water that has been diverted from this Mulla Periyar river or dam. Okay, and now this Vaigai river is moving like this, right? So basically this, when it was built, it was having the intention that the drier bed of this Vaigai river and this region is provided with water through this Mulla Periyar Dam. So there is unique, let's say, management structure here. Though the dam is located in Kerala on the river Periyar, but it is operated and maintained by the neighboring state Tamil Nadu. It is located in the Kerala, however it is managed by Tamil Nadu. So that's why we can understand there is somehow a conflict that is always going on between. It is constructed in between 1887 to 1894 and it is simple masonry gravity dam, and there are many concerns associated with safety of this dam, and that's why the conflict always going on between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Kerala is always of the view that when it reaches to the let's say unsafe level in reservoir, it seeks to open the gates continuously. So it is concerned about safety of the dam, and the Tamil Nadu is concerned about the water that has been provided or diverted to the Tamil Nadu. So the conflict is regarding that. So the location management is Tamil Nadu, location in Kerala. Vaigai river, it is let's say fueling the water in that basin. So such kind of prelims related question we can expect here, practice prelims question. You can see the statements about this Mulla Periyar river. The dam is built on the confluence of Mulla and Periyar river. This is correct statement. Water from the reservoir is diverted eastward, correct, via tunnel to augment the small flow of Kaveri river. So is this Kaveri river? No, it is Vaigai river. Such kind of confusing statement or the factual information can be given, so it is incorrect statement. Though the dam is located in Kerala, yes, dam is located in Kerala, but operated and maintained by neighboring state of Tamil Nadu. This is correct statement, and that's why the answer is 1 and 3. So try to solve such kind of question, try to frame such kind of question in your mind with the available knowledge that you have. Energy Meet calls for faster shift to the renewables. Now it is focusing on let's say shifting towards renewable energy, calling the countries to shift towards renewable energy. What is this? World Energy Transition Outlook Report given by ARENA, International Renewable Energy Agency. Now there is always one question regarding report or index by the international organizations. There can be match the following type of question or specific report related question. It is World Energy Transition Outlook Report. World Energy Transition Outlook Report given by International Renewable Energy Agency. For prelims related information, yes, it was previewed at the virtual Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue. It was previewed at Berlin Energy Transition Dialogue, and it called upon the countries to shift towards renewable energy, and this COVID-19 pandemic has provided apt opportunity for such kind of transition from, let's say, conventional energy sources, fossil fuels, to non-conventional renewable energy sources. Fine. Moving on, one more report, environment related report. Delhi remains most polluted capital. What is this report? World Air Quality Report 2020. World Air Quality Report 2020. This is given by IQ Air. It is released by IQ Air, a Swiss air quality technology company. IQ Air. So this is important as it categorizes this particular report is based on PM 2.5 data, particulate matter 2.5 data from 106 countries. Now Delhi has remained most polluted capital city in the world. One important information. Second important information, India is the third most polluted country in 2020. Okay, which are other two countries? We can understand that yes, the other two polluted countries are located in Asia itself, and they are Bangladesh and Pakistan, and India is third one. Okay, and South Asia is the largest or most polluted region in the world. Now at the city level, 15 most polluted cities, out of, let's say, 15 most polluted cities, 13 were in India. You can see here which are these 15. And however, the first one, Hotan, is in China. Chinese city, Hotan, is the most polluted city. And second is Ghaziabad, UP, Uttar Pradesh, in India. Okay, so out of 15, 13 are in India. Out of total 30, 22 cities are in India. So from that you can understand the level of air pollution in India, especially the metropolitan cities or million plus cities. Fine. So these reports, IQ Air, World Air Quality Report 2020. Fine. So these were important articles, issues for mains and prelims related examination, UPSC examination. If you like this video, please comment, give your feedback, as well as subscribe to our channel. For further information on editorial discussion classes or ED classes, wherein in-depth analysis of men's related issues and articles is done by Ansari sir and team, you can contact Luqman IAS. Thank you.